Hello and welcome to True Crime Diary, in which we take a light-hearted look at a serious subject. Every 2 weeks we look back through the stories of true crime to find an event that took place on this week in history. I'm your host Mark Decano, and with me as always are my friends Jed Lester.
Hello.
And Rue Turner.
Hello.
Please leave a review on Apple Podcasts if you can, and if you can't, you can always email us to stuff@truecrimediary.co.uk. And in appreciation of every 5-star review, we'll give you a shout out on a future episode. So the date we're looking at this week is the 25th of April, and in 1935, at the Coogee Aquarium and Swimming Baths in Sydney, Australia, a recently captured tiger shark became ill and began to vomit. First a rat, then a bird, and then a human arm.
I would say that's the most intriguing sentence you've said on this podcast as an opening.
Quite possibly.
As an opening introduction. What is the case known as the shark's arm or something?
It is known as the shark arm case.
Shark arm case.
Or the shark's arm.
Shark's arm.
They didn't throw up a briefcase after that, though.
No, there was no case. It was it was not.
And half an hour later, he threw up an armless man.
Yeah, the rest of him in
Case solved.
And then 11 other sharks turned up with the rest of him in.
And I'm assuming, because no one was expecting this, that no one close to the shark had lost an arm.
Yeah, they looked around and go, not mine, it's not mine.
Because it was in captivity for starters, wasn't it? Presumably.
It was, yeah.
It wasn't. Yeah, presumably
A bit
it
angry
wasn't
about
in
that,
captivity,
perhaps.
and then it was, but even so.
Yeah, it was caught by the owner of the Coogee Aquarium and Swimming Baths.
And I suppose when they caught it, they probably thought at that point it was quite harmless.
Mostly
harmless.
Yeah. So in those days, I guarantee he was like, oh, I've caught this. Oh, this will be all right for I'll just chuck it in my aquarium. I mean, you could never. Presumably, you can do that these days. But I guarantee he thought, oh, this'll do.
Yeah. Well,
I have a feeling that's pretty much how they do it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's even better. It's even better than that because despite owning an aquarium, he put it in the swimming bath.
Oh,
God.
He put the shark in the swimming pool. So come and look at this.
These sharks in the swimming pool, right?
Chlorinated, not seawater. Oh no, perhaps it was seawater. I don't know.
did it need to dip its fins in the smelly liquid before it went into the pool?
Yeah, it had to go through that little pool beforehand. Yeah, just flash around in it with its dorsal fin.
Yeah.
I quite like the phrase "the shark's arm." It sounds like an actual phrase that you'd say.
The shark's arm.
God, you wouldn't believe it. The other day, we managed it. It was a shark's arm in hell chance, but yeah, we did it. It was mega.
Bit like hen's teeth, shark's arm.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I like
It's a well known phrase.
It's rare as shark's arm, that is.
Where was a shark's arm?
Exactly. Yeah.
Horse feathers.
Oh, it was absolutely brilliant. It was like a shark's arm.
Well, if that's not common parlance now, I'm definitely going to make sure it is in future conversation.
Yeah. Use it with enough confidence and people will think they've heard that before.
Yeah.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Have you had a slice of that cake? Oh, it's the shark's arm.
Excellent. Well, definitely not where I thought that conversation was going to go. I like it.
Anyone who sneaks that into a review of this podcast will win a prize.
I tell you what else draws me in is can you think of the first thing I thought was that is a really good combination. I mean, I'd like to think that I'm not. Your next sentence isn't going to say, and it was tracked down from an orphan's home, and it was her birthday, and the shark ate her. But on the basis that you're not going to say that, I thought, what shark arm, shark.
Bang, bang, bang.
What other animal and bodily part could supersede this story? And I thought of a head, just a head, and a dinosaur.
The dinosaur's head.
I know they didn't coexist, but therefore that would be even better. We found this dinosaur. There was a human head in it.
Well, it could be a dinosaur in a museum.
Polar bear.
I'm sure that's been done on an episode of CSI.
And it's a leg.
So, Sharks eat polar bears.
They do.
No. Forget about that. The base animal.
A polar bear with Shackleton's knee in its
Yeah,
stomach.
exactly. Yeah, a chicken and a human that's bigger than it inside it.
Yeah, why not?
Otter's noses. Unusual Roman snack.
I mean, the case was just unbelievable. It was a shark's arm of a case.
Yeah, it was a shark's arm on the case. Absolutely right.
Have you said anything else apart from the introduction?
Nope.
Okay. Good night.
That'll do.
Get over there!
So the owner of the Coogee Aquarium and Swimming Baths,
Oh yeah, him.
Bert Hobson, and his son Ron,
I love sharks.
they caught this tiger shark. It was a 1 ton, about 13-foot
What?
tiger shark. They caught it.
Wow.
Yeah, they caught it 3 kilometres offshore, and they decided, they'll bring it in and they'll put it in the baths and they'll charge everyone to come round and see it. And the 25th of April was Anzac Day, so it's a big a Memorial Day, like a bank holiday.
It's the day before Prozac Day.
Well, all the jokes can't be good. You've got to expect that once in a while.
It's Prozac Boxing Day.
Yeah,
Did you say how long it was?
I did say how long it was. Yeah,
Say it again.
I know what you're going to say.
Say it again.
It's a 13-footer.
25.
25. 3 tons on.
3 tons of him. Unfortunately, 13 and 25 don't really go together. But
13-foot, 1 ton tiger shark. So what happened was that that shark had eaten the smaller shark. And the
Right.
smaller shark had eaten the arm.
Gosh.
like a Russian doll.
Like a little, like a matryoshka.
Yeah.
One inside t'other.
A big shark had eaten a smaller shark. Oh, right. So it was even more bemusing because where did he eat the other shark? Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the other shark? A smaller one, clearly. But
Well, I don't know.
was there anything inside the arm?
He was clutching in his fist.
A smaller arm.
Yes.
A tiny shark.
Holding a tiny shark, yeah.
I think that leads us gently back towards the genuine story. Because there is a detail on the arm.
There is a detail
Really?
on the arm. There's a couple of details.
A tattoo of a shark.
Well, there's a tattoo, that much is true.
Oh, yeah.
There was a tattoo of 2 boxers sparring.
Interesting. I wonder if that would mean, here's me jumping to conclusions, but that could mean it's obviously the answer is boxer, but I was going to say sailor, or obviously fisherman, but
Fishermen like tattoos.
they like tattoos of
And barmen.
Yeah,
sport.
Or a boat.
yeah.
There you
Did they
go.
not get tattoos
Okay.
of a fish?
Or a mermaid.
Or an anchor is the tradition.
Yeah.
We're getting matching leprechaun tattoos.
Or a boat.
Anyway, case closed.
Mermaids don't tend to wear boxing gloves, though.
Yeah. On examination of the arm, they discovered that it hadn't actually been bitten off. This wasn't a shark attack. It had been cut off with a knife.
Oh, God, this is getting way better.
So this became suddenly a potential murder investigation.
Curiouser and curiouser.
So the shark just ate a floating arm.
Essentially, yeah.
Right, okay, all right, fine.
Unless it was bait for a bigger shark.
Yep.
Tried to catch a...
Trying to catch a big shark. So you feed a little arm to a little shark.
And then use a small shark to catch a big shark.
Yeah,
Which it caught.
exactly. Standard
Put the
technique.
arm in the water to try to catch a whole man.
Started off with a spider catching a fly.
Yeah. They,
All
just
got out
went
of hand.
they didn't go the bovine way, they went the shark direction.
His arm belonged to an old lady.
They discovered it had been severed.
It had been severed, and also in a smaller detail, it did have a little bit of rope left around the wrist.
Okay.
Oh,
It's a small detail.
Yes.
So the police began an investigation. The tattoo led them very quickly to a man named Jimmy Smith. Now, he was from England. He was a former lightweight boxer,
uh-huh.
hence the
Right.
tattoo. He ran a billiards saloon
He had
in the suburbs.
one arm. In the suburbs of, we're talking about still in Australia.
Sydney.
Right, yeah, okay. Yep.
Sydney, Australia.
Yep.
So they're looking for Jimmy Smith. Jimmy Smith, he cannot be found.
Ah.
The search continues.
Now, it didn't take them long to connect Smith to one Reginald Holmes.
Right.
Now, he was quite well known. He ran a successful boat building business. But it seems he made most of his money from fraud and smuggling operations. His boat building business, he was using speedboats to smuggle cocaine.
Right.
And he did insurance scams. So in 1934, a year before, they'd overinsured and sunk a pleasure cruiser called the Pathfinder in order to claim multiple insurance policies. It's that kind of insurance scam that he would run. So although he was quite well known with a successful business, he was quite a shady character. And Smith was connected to him because they did
Deals.
They did deals. Yeah, it was like Holmes used Smith as a kind of like a gopher. He just got him to do like bits of work for him, kind of thing.
A sort of fence.
A navvy.
Right.
But it's when they hooked up with a third person that stuff started to get interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So Smith and Holmes linked up with a fraudster named Patrick Brady. Brady would write out forged checks in the names of the people who were clients of Holmes, so boat building clients, people who bought boats or other parts of his business. He would forge checks, and then Holmes and Smith would each cash the checks, either in the billiard hall or in the boat building business.
Yep.
But Smith and Holmes fell out over one of these scams, and Smith tried to blackmail Holmes.
Blackmail!
They've got all of this so far from a chopped off arm.
Yeah.
The path has led.
Yeah, they've
solely from all of that.
Yeah, they've connected them
pretty
together,
good, isn't it?
and it
Sounds like some fairly round investigative work.
Yeah,
Very tidy.
It's quite unexpected.
Yeah. I mean, we've swapped continents, but of all the cases so far, not all of them, but quite a few of them, it didn't go through this amount of procedure and investigative, and we're only talking about a bit of an arm. We're not even talking about people yet.
Well, exactly. I mean, in previous police investigations we've discussed, they couldn't even find a body, let alone
in the room they stood in.
In the room,
Yeah.
Let alone find an arm and then go, oh, let's talk to this guy. He knows. He's going to know about it.
I suspect the Smith and Holmes chaps were probably known to police before, but it's piecing it all together, isn't it? So
yeah.
I guess they've got a half set of prints.
I don't know, really. Would it be all kind of wrinkly?
I forget who developed it or when it was developed, but there was a scientist who managed to develop a technique for getting good quality prints from water decayed skin.
So you can do it.
I think you.
Yeah. It's the one thing that CSI has done that's actually real.
Right. Oh, okay. Yeah, because they would have obviously done that, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Found someone and 4 seconds later come up with a perfect set of prints. But
yeah,
it's fairly gruesome. You do remove the skin from the tips of the fingers and
you wear it like a rubber glove.
Like a glove.
And you let it dry. I mean, 20 minutes in the bath.
Yeah.
And I would argue that you can't take my prints.
That's the perfect time to commit a crime. Straight out the bath.
Apparently you can.
Yeah.
You can't unlock your own mobile phone at that point.
Yeah. They did very well considering it's nearly 100 years ago.
Yeah, absolutely. So on April 7th, Smith spent a very visible night out drinking with Brady at the Cecil Hotel. And then they went...
A very visible night out.
Yeah, but it was loud and they were very...
We're going out.
Yeah, I mean, the point is that everyone saw them. It's not like they were discreet. They were having a raucous, bawdy time of it.
Have you seen who's over there? He's a bit visible. I'll tell you what, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a shark's arm in hell of chance that he'll get up to no good.
No, I don't know what shark's arm supposed to be. Is that a good chance or a bad chance?
No, do I? don't know. It's just a thing.
There's a chance. It's 50-50, really. It could go either way.
Having a shark's arm of a night.
Now, the funny thing is also Brady had rented a cottage nearby, in his own name, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
So they went from their drinking session at the Cecil Hotel, they went to this cottage nearby. And that's the last time Smith was seen.
Oh.
But because they were they'd made very well aware, everyone around them, where they were, or who these people, there were a lot of witnesses to them. The police easily managed to track their movements.
Because of their visual night out.
Because they were very visible. Yeah.
Yep.
In fact, so much so that there was a taxi driver who identified Brady and said, "Yeah, I picked him up from this address at this cottage, and I took him to this address where Mr. Holmes lives." He went straight from the cottage to Holmes' house.
Okay, so it's all going pretty well so far. The investigation.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much landed in their lap.
It's easy.
Yeah.
Yep.
The taxi driver said that Brady looked dishevelled. He was definitely hiding something under his jacket, and it was clear that he was frightened.
I ain't afraid of nothing.
Gosh.
Okay.
So that's a pretty good witness.
And it was in the shape of an arm.
I was going to say, you don't think it's actually the arm.
He had 3 arms under his jacket.
Surely not.
Yeah.
Put your hands up, all 3 of them.
He had 3 arms and 2 sleeves.
Put your hands up. And the other one.
And the other one.
No, not the 4th.
So, on the 16th of May, Brady is arrested. And the police are going to charge him with Smith's murder. However, then it starts to get even more interesting. So, those police spoke to Holmes. First of all, he denied knowing Brady or associating with him at all. But after only 4 days of Brady being arrested, Holmes took a bottle of brandy and a .32 pistol into his boat shed and shot himself in the head.
Wow.
Oh, why would he do that?
Why, indeed? Well, he didn't do a very good job of it, because...
He didn't die?
No.
Oh, no.
He succeeded only in knocking himself out of the boat and into the water.
Where he...
Where he woke up.
Oh, my
Wet.
God.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh. That's some doing, isn't it?
Yeah. It's surprisingly common.
Is it?
To shoot yourself in the head and miss.
Yeah. It's harder than you think.
Did he hit him anywhere in his head?
Well, this is what I don't understand. How he was pointing this gun, because he shot himself in the forehead.
But that's surely bad.
Yeah, because that's the strongest part of the...
The thing is, when it comes to actually pulling the trigger, the likelihood is that you'll move. You'll move your hand or you'll move the rest of your body.
Up.
And
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, down.
you'll just come and miss.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of the difficulty emotionally.
Yeah.
You'll just move a little bit
Yes.
and you'll skim off.
Ricochets off.
But yeah,
Right.
But why start there at all? Why start at the front, at the strongest bone in the head? Why didn't you put it under the chin or in the mouth or something?
I would still assume that a bullet from point blank range would go in your skull, but
Well, arguably. I mean, Rue's probably right. It's probably just slightly different angle, shaking hands, sweaty forehead. And it was only a .32 pistol, so it wasn't like a Magnum or anything. It was small, relatively small caliber.
Right.
So, yeah, he knocked himself out of the boat and into the water, whereupon he woke up. He climbed back into the speedboat and...
so he was literally completely fine.
Well, no, I know he's completely fine. He obviously had a headache. He set off and he would...
Okay, he had a headache. Oh God, I'm terribly sorry.
He had a bit, yeah. He drove the motorboat around Sydney Harbour for like 4 hours, all over the place, driving erratically. He'd got in all the shipping lanes and disrupted him, the ferry lanes.
This is after the trying to kill himself.
Yeah.
So why was he doing that? Just because he was like, hey,
Yeah, he was.
I'm alive.
Punch drunk,
Okay, all right.
And then he was chased by the police, and he led them 2 kilometres out to sea until he finally surrendered.
Okay.
So
It
now,
was a shark's arm of a night, wasn't it?
wouldn't it though?
So he then hands up, 3 hands up to the police.
Puts all of his hands in the air.
Yep.
And so now Holmes is in custody, and he decides he's going to tell him what happened. So according to Holmes, Brady turned up at his house with Smith's arm.
Right. Brady turned up at his house with Smith's arm.
Yeah, he knocked on the door.
But not Smith.
But not Smith. No Smith. Only
The arm
only
of.
1/10 of Smith turned up.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, I'd say that was 1/10.
Yeah.
Yeah, good fraction. Good fraction choice there.
So he turns up demanding £500,
Right.
saying that he'd killed Smith, dismembered him, put him in a trunk, and thrown him into Gunnamatta Bay.
Okay.
A practice which was known colloquially as a Sydney send-off.
Okay. Yeah. Very good.
Which is nice. So Holmes, in a panic, drove to a coastal suburb and threw the arm into the sea.
Ah.
And that's where
And
the story began in shark terms.
yes.
Sounds like he might have tied a weight of something to it. but not enough to stop sharks from feasting on it.
Well, if it was at the bottom,
The brick was at the bottom, and the arm was
if it
floating
was
at the end of a
bottom
rope.
and just
Yeah.
just floating like a big sausage on a stick, and he just went hom. It's quite good though that it's all from someone's then subsequently catching a shark who ate another shark that they solved. Did they solved a murder case? Did they?
Well, possibly.
Hang on.
Hang on a minute.
We've got to the end.
So we've had a murder, or apparently we've had a murder, and apparently we had an attempted suicide. Now Holmes, he decided now he was going to agree to be a witness at the inquest, which is going to take place on the 12th of June. However, early in the morning on the 12th, he was found under Sydney Harbour Bridge in his car with 3 gunshot wounds to the chest, dead.
Oh dear. Sorry, is this the chap who tried to kill himself before?
Yes.
And
This
he
is
had
Holmes.
now succeeded.
Well, the tricky bit is getting the second and then the third bullet in your chest.
He tried harder the second time by ensuring he put many bullets
Yeah,
in.
that's true.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. He was rubbish at it, wasn't he? So
He killed himself and then hid the car under the bridge.
and then drove
Apparently.
to under the bridge. Yeah. I think I'll just park. Yeah. Right. Oh, okay. So someone did him in. So we've got 2 murders now.
2 murders.
1 arm, 2 murders.
So with Holmes dead and no body, Brady's defence was going to go to trial. But his defence was, well, Smith could still be alive. Having an arm is no
Yeah.
proof that there's a murder even taken place.
Of course, yeah.
One-armed boxer.
You need a body.
Yeah. And then it was discovered that Smith actually turned out to be a police informant. And actually could have been killed by any number of paid assassins or crime bosses.
Yes. Right. Okay. Because he dobbed in whoever he.
Dobbed in people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's quite a good story, isn't it?
It's a great story. So Brady went to trial, and with only an arm and no star witness.
Well, at least he could swear on the Bible.
And the Quran at the same time.
Yeah. He was found not guilty and acquitted.
Yeah, I suppose you know you could easily persuade as a defence attorney. You could say, "What are you talking about? It's an arm."
Yeah.
And
Sell it on.
yeah,
Well, I mean, that's pretty much where our story ends,
there
because
a-
no one was ever charged over the deaths of Smith or
Right,
Holmes,
right.
and Smith's body was never recovered.
Oh,
it strikes
gosh.
me as when you get to your popular culture section, strikes me as something that could or should be a film or documentary, but is
Yeah. But
Yeah.
without a lovely round ending, it would just sort of peter
yeah, I
out.
suppose so.
You'd need
Yeah.
to add in a sort of fake Hollywood
Yeah,
ending.
you're right, because it's I mean it's not a rubbish ending, but in documentary, in film terms, it is, isn't it?
Oh, it could be a Usual Suspects type ending, where
Yeah.
Brady walks away a free man at the end.
Yeah.
No one knows who done it.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
You leave it
I
open.
mean, that would work for me. I'd love to see this movie. But no
Suggesting
movie has been made.
Right, suggesting that nothing at all.
And there's the shark thinking, it's just an arm entree, my dear Watson.
We could be thinking it, but the chances are.
I'm going to stop making that gag one day,
Please,
and
Steve.
you'll hate me for it.
Oh dear. So Brady lived to a ripe old age. He died in 1965 at the age of 76.
Right.
He denied having any connection to the murder all the time. Until he
As
died.
you would.
As you would.
And he may not have been connected to the murder. If he was an informant, I guess, there would have been all sorts of baddies connected with it.
Yeah. Well, according to Holmes, Brady turned up with his arm and told him what he'd done.
Ah, okay.
But then Holmes
yes.
wasn't around to corroborate or change his
Yes,
story.
of course. Yeah. So you're right. It's quite an easy case to get off because of lack of anything or a person on the other end of the arm.
Person on the other end of the arm.
It's quite good though. I wonder if it's a widely known story over there. Shark's arm case. Yeah, know all about that. What do you want to know?
Well, I think so. I think it's pretty much
good.
legendary.
It's pretty good.
But there hasn't been that much in popular culture about it. Not nearly as much as I would have expected. There's a play called The Grey Nurse Said Nothing.
Go.
And there's been books about the case, but not dramatisations.
It's not a grey nurse shark, is it?
That is a type of shark, isn't it?
Yeah.
A nurse shark, yeah.
Yeah.
And a grey shark.
And a grey shark. Bill Bryson mentioned it in his book Down Under.
Did he?
Yeah. People in the US would know that as the book is called In a Sunburned Country.
Yeah.
But we know it as Down Under. But although he says it was a swimmer, not the boxer, so he actually made a mistake on that.
Oh, did he? Right.
The best one, I think, for me, is in season 1 of CSI Miami.
Oh, yeah.
Episode 3.
Yeah.
It's called Wet Foot, Dry Foot. And in it, there is the case of a Cuban immigrant under the wet foot, dry foot policy. If you make it onto the beach, you can stay.
Yes,
kind of thing.
yes, yeah.
But one of them was eaten by a shark, apparently. Except that it wasn't eaten by a shark because it had the arm and the whole torso in the shark. And it had a convenient gunshot wound in it.
Okay.
Just to narrow down the suspects. It was definitely murder. And at this point, I think I should remove my glasses.
Yeah.
It was murder.
Roger Daltrey. That was the
Exactly.
what's he called? David Caruso. Yeah.
It's gone full Caruso.
Yeah.
Miami style.
This does remind me somehow of the Salish human foot discoveries.
Depends if there's a crime committed.
Well, there's probably crimes
some
related
shoes.
to it.
What's it called again?
Salish human foot discoveries.
It's a bit of a rubbish title, but
It's catchy.
So, someone walking along the beach on the Salish Sea found
human foot.
a trainer
Oh.
one day,
What, you'd be like a personal trainer?
and they kicked it over and found that inside
It was a foot.
was a human foot.
Yeah.
So they found a
And
foot.
over the coming weeks, more and more of these were found, and I think it was over a dozen, perhaps as many as 20
25.
human feet were found in trainers on the Salish coast.
Oh, this sounds great.
So a lot of these feet were found, some of them matching pairs, some
Well,
of them not.
presumably no more than 2 matched. Hang on, we've got 3 here.
And they just kept turning up.
It was a terrible scythe accident where someone had been harvesting wheat with a row of spectators in front of them that just sliced all their feet off.
The crowd is just on its feet here.
There was lots of individual tragedies. Some people lost at sea,
Yes.
some possibly suicide.
Yes.
And the mystery behind it is all down to the physics of how a body decomposes at sea.
Okay, scary feet, scary feet, scary feet, scary feet.
And most of these are found in running trainers, which of course are nice and spongy and full of air, so they're quite buoyant.
Moccasins.
And joints are typically weaker and where a body decomposes a little more quickly than other parts of the body. So with the feet floating towards the surface and the ankles more exposed,
So it all gets eaten and then it floats to the top.
and of course no creatures can really get into the shoe that easily to consume the flesh that's in there.
At a certain place.
So the feet just remain. So you end up with this buoyant foot detached from the body, and yeah, they just end up the way the sea works around the Salish coast. The feet just end up washed along the shore.
So if you're ever going to sea, be sure to wear Nike Airs,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then your body will be eventually discovered on a beach in Canada.
It was first thought to be something quite gruesome, but it's just physics that ends up with them there.
But they weren't all trainers, though, were they?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, mostly trainers
well, I
because
know,
they're so
but
buoyant.
it's like I think if I was the investigating officer, I'd be like, how many more are turning up? It's like, it's not, it just seemed, anyway.
Those that weren't wearing trainers, the workman's boots,
DMs, sank to the bottom.
the tap dancing shoes, they sink to the bottom.
Right, there you go. And on that bombshell.
The other thing we should talk about is the vast disparity between the number of people attacked by sharks every year and the number of sharks attacked by people every year.
Yeah, sure, it's hundreds of millions versus 7 or something, isn't it?
Yeah,
Because we've now reduced the population of sharks on this planet by 71% in the last 50 years.
Yeah.
And although only, 5 or maybe 6 people a year are attacked by a shark, we managed to kill over 100 million. Yeah, Jed, like you say, 100 million sharks a year, which is about 11 to 12,000 sharks an hour.
Well, in parts of Asia, they catch the sharks, cut off the fin, and basically throw the rest away.
Yes, quite.
And the vast majority of shark death is due to finning.
Yeah, most of it.
God, that's awful.
Finning,
Which is neither tasty nor nourishing.
Nor has any worth.
No.
Yeah, it's not even good, but it's traditional
no worth
medicine
whatsoever.
Yeah.
No.
It's what they call traditional medicine, which has no medical properties at all.
Like an elephant umbrella stand.
Yes, the foot.
Tiger's hand ashtray. Utterly pointless and just killing for the sake of it.
Yeah. And sharks, meanwhile, don't even like human flesh because it tastes horrible. They're just biting
something
because they think it's a fish, but they don't like it. They'll bite down, and then if they're able to, they'll release. It's only because they bite through like an artery or something that people die from it.
Nobody likes eating long pig.
No, sharks, eh? That's all for this time. If you want to know more about what we've discussed over the course of this episode, just Google it or something. You can see daily true crime updates on our Facebook, Twitter or Instagram. You can email us, or you can support the show with a PayPal donation. And links to all of those are on our website at truecrimediary.co.uk. Don't forget to send us a review or post one in your podcast service if you can, and all 5-star reviews will get a shout out on a future episode. Join us next time when we'll be similarly discussing and digressing on another event in true crime history. Until then, my thanks to Jed and Rue. My name's Mark, and we'll see you on the next date in our True Crime Diary.